Welcome. I'm Perry Williams with Hamilton County TV, and we're in the locker room at Noblesville High School, and I got with me today new head coach Justin Roden. Welcome, Justin.
Thanks, Perry. Good seeing you again, man.
Good seeing you too. I get to watch you from afar sometimes at practice because, as you can see, I enjoy watching practices. So
it's good to let you out there, yeah.
Yeah, I think you can learn a lot, in which I know you believe that too. Well, Lucas Oil tomorrow night, okay? The Horseshoe Classic. You're playing the game at 6 o'clock. You're playing Cathedral. So let's talk a little bit about what, you were at Lucas Oil with East Central at state tournament time.
Yes,
this
sir.
is a little bit different because this is opening up, but what's it mean to the kids?
Well, I cite this from experience. I know that 3 years ago when we played down there, when we lost, we'd actually gone down there on a Wednesday and had a practice, had a terrible practice, went down there for the game, and between the fans, being on the field, and all the factors that go along with playing at Lucas Oil, our kids did not handle it very, very well. It's overwhelming. I mean, you're walking the same hallway that Andrew Luck and some of those great Colts players have and continue to do. So the big thing for us truly is how we're going to handle the environment, the experience. I know we've sold a lot of pre-sale tickets. There's a lot of excitement. I mean, football's back. But there's some little things in there that I'm trying to talk to the kids about. It's a little bit hard to breathe. When the dome is closed like that, or excuse me, the roof is closed, it's just strange. There's just so many variables. Communication is much harder. Even if the stadium, I think it holds 70,000, even with a few thousand people in there, it's hard to communicate. And so for us, we've talked about it a bunch. I would have liked to have got a chance to take the kids down to practice, but obviously that's not realistic. But more than anything, we just have to kind of ride the wave. So I told them when they get there, look around, have those googly eyes, soak it all in for about 2 minutes, and then let's go to work.
Absolutely, because like you said, it's a totally different feel than they'll have all season long, and maybe you may have it at the end of the year, but it's totally different now, and it's the first game for you, your staff, and for these players. So, let's talk a little bit about some of these players, because I can tell you, giving you a little history, when this senior class were sophomores, a lot of people said, the sophomore class is a good sophomore class. I can hardly wait till they grow up and they become seniors. Well, here we are a couple of years later. They've faced a lot of adversity here at the school with coaches and all those type of things. So let's talk a little bit about those seniors and just talk about them.
Sure. Well, you mentioned in the beginning there, we've for this senior group, they've had 3 head coaches, and they're 4 years here, which is really, really tough, which means 3 systems, offensively and defensively, kind of learning the requirements and expectations of the coaches from both sides of the football. You're right. I mentioned this to some people early on, that it's a good group of seniors. It's a mature group of seniors. They've been through a great deal of adversity. And they're likable. I've been the head coach of a few teams where they were good players, but you don't like them, but they have some behaviors that you kind of cringe at. This group here, they're really good kids. They're the type of kids you don't mind. Well, maybe not dating my daughter, but they're kids that I take a great deal of pride in. As far as the leadership goes, we're going to vote on captains today. I always typically vote on captains the Thursday before the first game. I've never had more than 4, but this is a group where, big captain's going to be really hard. We'll let the kids vote on it, and then I'll have the final say. But, whether it's Grant, coming back as quarterback, whether it's Dalton, on the line, whether it's Eddie, who's going to get a chance to play both sides of the ball. There's a lot of great players everywhere. Luke Levens, was another hard-nosed great player for us, and Zach Groover is again, I can just go through, one by one, and they're young men that are going to be playmakers for us. And part of that, too, is we're going to ask some of them to play both sides of the ball. I mean, in 6A football, you can't really get away with that, but we're not blessed athletically in certain positions to have a great deal of depth. And someone like Wyatt and Zach and Luke are going to be asked to give every ounce of their body, heart, and soul on Friday nights, and we've tried to condition them in the summer to be able to play, 100 reps of football a game. I don't want to do that, but as you mentioned at the beginning, it is a talented group, and one thing I do believe strongly in is that the 11 best players should be on the field, and whether that's special teams, offense, or defense, the best 11 go, and if they've got to play both ways, then we're going to do it and give ourselves a chance to win.
Well, that's good. You mentioned a lot of good senior leaders there, and I agree with you. I've been very close with this group over the last 3 years, and have known those kids quite well. But and it's going to be a tough decision for who's going to be pick as captain. But I assure you that knowing this group, they'll do a great job leading no matter what. And,
absolutely.
And those players that have to follow will follow. I mean, that's just the way this group is.
I agree, very much so. And then, we've got other ones on there. I mean, you're talking. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about like players like Kenja Jenkins, who could be a special player on the defensive line, and some of these guys too have been hurt. They didn't get a chance to play a full season last year. So someone like Kenja, or someone even like Dalton, guys that were hurt last season that didn't quite get a chance to play a full season of football. I'm really excited to see them, hopefully stay healthy and play 10, 15 games of football.
What about the running game? You feel pretty comfortable that your running game is where it should be right now?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am never comfortable with where our running game should be, and even in East Central, I put a great deal of value on the offensive line. If I was a NFL general manager, I would pick an offensive lineman every year first. You'll find the best teams have the best offensive lines. And so for us, we've got a lot of guys bound to try to win those spots, and we've been trying to find the right recipe, and we haven't just yet. We haven't. We've got a core group that we feel strongly about, but it's a new system, and the kids are learning every day. We make mistakes, we improve those mistakes, we coach, we teach, but we're nowhere near where I can sit here and say, we're in a good place. We're doing some things better, but for us, we just got to continue to grow and stop the mental mistakes. I think in our scrimmage versus North Central, one of the things that kind of caught me off guard is that we made a great deal of physical mistakes, but I think those were a result of kids worrying so much about the execution and the dynamic of the play that they didn't execute physically. Sometimes worrying about what I've got to do, X and O's, and as far as being in that certain place, that you forget the most important part, and that's to block the guy, or to have good leverage, and to use your hands and take good angles. And I'll pick on Cam Knight for a second. Cam will say that he didn't have a great game on Friday. Cam's a good player. He just he's trying to be a leader as a junior, and he's somebody down the road for us is going to be a great offensive lineman. So I mentioned his name just because there's a lot of guys like that. They're going to get better every single week, and I want them to be a strength of this football team. So as far as the running game goes, I'm looking forward to seeing Blevins and Jenick run the football. I'm looking forward to putting a fullback back there a little bit. We tried some of that on Friday night, but we were missing. Eddie didn't play because of an injury. Joe Hillman was sick, so the guys have been practicing fullback and tailback all summer, weren't there.
Yeah.
So we resorted to putting Blevins at some fullback and Barrett at tailback, and that's not really where either one fit. And so we did it a little bit, but it's not where it's going to be and where it's going to get to. So I'm excited to see what they can do, but I know there's a learning curve there, and we're not quite where we need to be.
And of course, you have some receivers back this season, and of course, Grant Gramel's back at quarterback, and last season, Grant many times, like you said, because of that front line there, holes getting in that front line, Grant scrambled for his life many occasions.
If you take and you go through it and you analyze the stats, and stats don't win football games, but I will tell you this, I think we were -2 on average of every football game. If you were to turn the ball over 2 more times than your opponent on Friday nights or Saturdays or Sundays, you're not going to win. Right. And so you want to pick a stat. While we lost football games last year, I believe we threw 14 interceptions collectively as a group. I think we fumbled the ball. I don't know the number on the top of my head, but we have to value the football. And so, one of the things we talked about with Grant is making good decisions, even under duress. It's okay to throw that ball and hit the mascot over there on the sideline, as long as the team decides to intercept the football. We don't want to take sacks, but sometimes it's better to eat it than to just throw it away, and that's hard. Grant has a great arm and great potential, and we've worked really hard in this offseason to give him an opportunity with the new system to be able to have options underneath and to have quick decisions, and as I mentioned a moment ago, to keep developing that offensive line to give him some more time.
All right. And I talk about this a lot on the air in the past, is, everybody gets hung up on the good offense, the good defense, and all that type. But special teams plays a huge, huge part in a ball game.
Absolutely.
Punting the ball, being able to kick field goals, and you have a top-notch kid in Jack Knight kicking the footballs.
Yeah, I have not had a kicker as talented as him. As a head coach, as an assistant coach, we had some pretty talented guys that played Division I football. But I would tell you that Jack's leg is as strong as anyone I've ever seen in high school. He's kicking field goals off the grass without utilizing the block, which, again, in high school football is pretty spectacular. And he kicks off well. I think the field position, just on kickoffs, that in itself is huge. If you can put the ball in the end zone and make them start in the 20 instead of the 30, the 35, that's an extra first down that the other team has to get. And then punting-wise, we've got a couple different options with punting this year. He's going to punt, but we're going to try to be a little diverse in the punt game and try to take advantage of that. But we in practice have worked really, really hard. We work punt team every single day. We work at it protection-wise. We work coverage-wise. I tell the kids that daily that punt is the most important play in football. If you're kicking the ball and it's good things. It's okay to punt the ball. Go play defense, stop them, punt the ball, just don't turn it over. And that has to be, driven home to the kids. We play our best players on specialties. I'm not being disrespectful, but we don't just play seniors on specialties, whether it's kickoff return or units where you typically can get away with maybe, I don't use the word hiding players, but we don't do that, because if I've learned anything in my coaching career, you can lose a game on special teams faster than any other spot and any other play in football.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Coach, like we were talking, I wanted to get this interview in today because with you guys going to Lucas Oil and playing in the Horseshoe Classic, now you play earlier tomorrow night. You play that first game.
Yeah.
So game time is 6 p.m. And I don't think people realize, once you get a program in a schedule, okay, and then you have to disrupt that schedule, it gets a little tough, doesn't it? I mean, because kids are preparing for different things.
Yeah, I've played later games on Fridays. I can't say I've ever played a 6 o'clock game on a school day. That's pretty unique for us. We're not leaving school early. We're not getting to class early. We're going to we're drilled today in practice about how we're going to handle tomorrow. We're going to pack our bags the night before, and I think that's, we talk about being a young man and growing up a little bit. This is part of it. We've got to treat tonight as a preparation for tomorrow. So your bag's got to be packed. You got to check all your things off and have a great day at school tomorrow, and then just be able to grab that bag, grab your lunch, or grab your meal, have a quick meeting, and then get on the bus, and then go to work. And when you're a new coach in a young program, trying to change some things, there's a little bit of nerves as far as, hey, is this kid going to remember his cleats? We had a young man lose a shoe this week, so we went on a cleat hunt. And I laugh about that a little bit just because we're getting ready to play the first game of the football season. We can't go looking for cleats tomorrow. We can't go looking for gloves. We've got to make sure that our focus is on a really good cathedral football team.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out, and of course you'll be on our coaches show from the studio on Monday night, which starts at 7, and I think you're probably on about 7:10, 7:15, but we'll be talking about the game, but we'll also be talking about the upcoming Carmel game a little bit. And
another easy one.
Yeah, just another. I mean, when you really look at this schedule, and I was counting up when I was looking at the rankings, and the top 10 teams, you play, I think 5 or 6 of those top 10 teams in the state. So you have a brutal schedule, but I assure you from what I've seen practice and everything, that I think the Millers are going to be ready. Can I say that the Millers are going to win all the games? Probably not, but I can say you're going to be ready, and if they're not ready, you're going to, the following week, you're going to make sure that they are prepared a little bit more. Like you said, you got to grow every week, Coach.
Yeah, as you've got a chance to watch in practice, practices can be as intense as a Friday night. We're still learning how to practice a little bit, and you got a chance to see me hoot and holler. Hopefully tomorrow I can be calm and kind of enjoy the fruit and rewards of watching those young men work hard in practice. And the schedule is hard. It's challenging. Yeah. But at the same time, we're not going to make excuses for who we play against. If we lose a football game, it's not who we play, it's on us. So I think the goal every week, and call it a cliche, is to go 1-0. We have to win this week and then focus on the next week, and no matter what the result of the previous week is, we have to look at that we're trying to go 1-0 that week. If you look at that schedule and say, hey, we got to go play Carmel and then play, Avon and Fishers and Zions, like, you can just, in Brownsburg, you can just roll them off. And, and I don't want to run names because they're all good, and I don't want to disrespect any of those coaches and programs because they've all achieved a great deal of success. So for us, new program, new culture, let's just focus on the Irish and try to represent Noblesville well and play some good quality football.
Well, Coach, I wish you the best for you and your team tomorrow night, and looking forward to you being on the show Monday night, and this season, you and I spending some time with each other.
Appreciate it.
Sound great?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate it.
All right.